Ooh.
Oh, hey everyone, this is Gavin and Jessica checking back with you from South by 2021 live virtual. Um, Jessica brought up a good point. We just watched three more of the narrative shorts, and to say they were heavy is a bit of an understatement. Um, they're super emotional, but she said, and I didn't realize this, the narrative shorts, they're never comedies.
Not just narrative shorts, literally. So I'm a short film junkie, as you know. Document. Well, why would a documentary be a comedy anyway? But every short program is heavy and sad. Some might not be as gut wrenchingly sad as the three we just watched, but
Uh-huh.
I cannot even tell you one comedy that I remember from 2 years ago. And I did watch South by Southwest virtual last year too.
Yeah.
They had released a lot of the shorts, whatever their partnership with Prime was. We were able to watch for, I think they kept it longer than the 10 days. I think they kept it for a couple of weeks. Those were all heavy and dark. Probably there were some comedies in there. I don't remember them. The only comedy we've seen so far was Squeegee. Everything is always a drama. So I'm here like, yep, this is what I'm used to. I'm not complaining. I have loved everything we have seen so far.
Yeah. So this morning was an emotional roller coaster to say the least. So to kick it off, we watched The Nipple Whisperer. And I was expecting something funny.
I was expecting kind of what I was saying yesterday about I love comedy that takes itself seriously, because to me, that's what comedy is. And I, with a title like The Nipple Whisperer, I was like, oh, this is going to be hilarious. Nope.
No. So it's about an old man who may or may not have magic powers for a very
Yes.
specific purpose.
No, he does. It's very clear. The film is very clear. He is the Nipple Whisperer. I saw it as he is an emotional fluffer. So, like in adult films, you've got like the fluffer on the side, make sure like, oh, the boy, why am I explaining porn to you? So he was the emotional fluffer. He was the emotional fluffer because apparently the soap was the most important soap in the world that the actress had to sell, and she had to look like Mother Teresa crying over soap and bubbles. That was actually hilarious. Anyway, I interrupted you. This was a tough one for me.
Now, here's what I got from it by the end of it, which I would not have understood had my dad not told me what it was like when my mom had her mastectomy and how she changed. When the end of it came and the woman undressed and she had the double mastectomy and he whispered to her to make her feel like a woman again, that was super fucking deep. And so I thought he did it for women who had breast cancer and had mastectomies because you never saw the other woman's breasts. She was very flat. Because I was expecting like something funny, like really erect nipples for this commercial shot or something. I didn't notice anything. And then when the old woman took her clothes off and she had the tattoos and they weren't there, you could see the scars. I was like, oh shit. He helps them feel like a woman again. Like just boom, crashed my where's the joke coming in part. Like totally put those brakes on.
I don't watch K-dramas or J-dramas anymore because they're so emotionally manipulative. I have never successfully watched a film or a series, J-drama, K-drama, and come out unscathed. Even if they're supposed to be comedies. I will stick with the series the whole time. I'll watch the movie, and by the end of it, I am a sniveling, weeping puddle of goo. They're so good about emotionally manipulating you. And I can appreciate that as an audience member because, again, to me, it's art. And the fact that you were able to reduce me, because I don't like rom-coms at all. And I've seen a lot of K-drama, J-dramas that are really just an extended romantic comedy, but they kick my ass. And I felt myself during the Nipple Whisperer. The fact that it's called the Nipple Whisperer, it just lends itself to being a comedy, but it's not. I was manipulated because the title, this old man who looks just like a hot mess. He's just in the, he has been around. He looks and everyone's like, wow, you look terrible. And I'm like, wow, he looks terrible. In the middle of a street, the color scheme of the show are these, deep and dark and bluish muted tones. So it sets the tone of being depressing, I felt. And he's just like staring off at the Nipple Whisperer. And I was like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. And then I kept waiting for the joke because he's hot. Like I'm out of retirement and everything is so serious. No, you have to do this first. And you find out he's being commissioned or he's coming out of retirement to help this actress really dig deep down to find her emotional leverage for a soap commercial. And I thought, okay, that's the joke, but I still didn't laugh. And then you get to the end and I haven't laughed this whole time, and I'm not laughing now because now he's in the car with clearly his lover, his previous lover. So by the time she opens her oh my God, it was beautifully done. I don't know if you saw me. I had to leave. Like I started sobbing. Thank God I wasn't done with my makeup yet. I started sobbing. I absolutely lost my shit. But then I'm like, I'm so manipulated and kind of mad. I thought it was masterfully done. It really fucked me up and I thought it was beautiful. But yeah, I'm having trouble with this. I don't know if it's a juxtaposition. I'm having trouble articulating it, but like it should have been a comedy and it wasn't. And I feel manipulated by it. Oh God, that was rough.
It was like, and as a guy, I don't think about things like that. So I don't know what, like the soap commercial was just bizarre. Her opera singing, turning in circles, surrounded by bubbles was just fucking weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was that last few scenes because he retired when she lost her breasts because she left him and disappeared. He's like, I can't do this anymore. Right. He can't help these people. And then he came back because she asked him to. And he felt tricked, and then they went out like just what?
Yeah.
Super,
and you I'm sorry, super what? Finish your sentence.
Super, that's all. It's just super. Like that's all I can say.
You brought up a good point. Is he an on-set emotional fluffer, which could also just be a director or assistant director, or but not, because he has a very specific skill? Or is he, he's called the Nipple Whisperer. He's not called the emotional agitator, what do you call it? The emotional and the contractor for emotional inspiration. He's not called that. He's called the Nipple Whisperer. So back to what you said before, is he specifically called in to help actresses who have had the experience of breast cancer and having a mastectomy, double or not, just that experience, and he has to help them find their emotional core for, getting the performance out of them?
It's like their femininity comes back.
But but hold on. His previous lover was also the soap princess. So is he just called in for this one job of helping soap princesses? They keep hiring actresses who who have had this terrible thing happen to them.
I don't know if it was she was figuratively the previous soap princess or she was
No,
figuratively.
she was. No, she was. She said so. She said,
Okay.
you helped me years ago when I was the soap princess. So they clearly met on set and had this relationship because she's like, do it to me how you did it before when I was the soap princess so many years ago. So she was predecessor. She was in that role, and then left or whatever, and who knows how many other actresses. But it just there's a little bit of a hole in the screenplay there. Is he the nipple whisperer for actresses who have had this horrible tragedy experience? Or is he just sort of called on set because these people know him and they keep hiring actresses who have had this experience that are for this one specific soap commercial? That was really, I don't get that.
See, I take it because it's very specifically, he whispers to the nipples. Like, it's kind of creepy looking, where he's having these whispered conversations with nipples that are kind of there because their reactions were like they found something they lost. And when my dad would talk about how my mom changed, it was like she lost all of her femininity. She felt like she had lost something that made her woman. And it was this mental thing. So I took it as that's what he's doing. He's helping them regain that, even if it's for a little while. Because to be the princess, you've got to be very feminine and flowy. And if you're cast for it and you feel like you've missed this part, there's only so much you can act. And so he came and did her.
That was clear to me. It was very clear to me what his job was. What threw me off was it was for a soap commercial. Like if it would have been an actress in a very dramatic role and she can't reach her emotional height or whatever, call him the nipple whisperer. We got to have this woman who's playing a mother of triplets, or this drama that we're doing. We got to call him the nipple whisperer, but it was a soap commercial, which then made it absurd and took me out of the message.
But as absurd as it is, it's still a role that needs this embracing femininity, singing, flowing, like all the clothes and the bubbles and the pink everywhere. So that's just how I took it. It'll be interesting. Maybe we need to go back and rewatch it now that we've seen it. We know it's not to expect the punchline. For real. So this was followed up by another doozy that rocked me to the core, like the ones I used to know, which is, I guess, what was it? It sounded like it was Australian, but like
no, it's French. It's Canadian French.
Canadian, but French Canadian. Yeah. And this one rocked me to the core because I've dealt with this situation somewhat, and get the raw end of the deal. And it's really hard to let go of something when you don't understand why you have to let go. So this is a film about Christmas Eve and a dad coming to pick up his kids from his ex-wife. And
who has clearly moved on.
Yeah, but not clearly moved on. You could tell by the way that they would interact with each other. It wasn't like she was moving on because she felt she had to, but there was still something there, and he was trying to grasp on. Like, it was the way their eyes talked. Like, I loved the way that whoever staged this made them act, because it captured that awkwardness of going into a family that you're no longer part of, that you've been replaced in. And that is the single most awkward thing ever. I have walked into that. It was not a healthy thing. It was completely bizarre. And you just feel like this fish way out of water. So they really captured that on film really, really well. So I applaud them for that. Just massively major. What were your thoughts on this one?
What hurt me, and to echo what you're saying, I felt like they'd probably had a very amicable breakup because there was no hatred. It was really just awkward, like you're saying. And so it looked to me that they had, this divorce had happened, I mean, I don't know. It was still kind of fresh, it looked like. And she had her boyfriend there and everything. But it looked to me that it was just a situation. We don't work anymore. We're getting a divorce. And it wasn't a nasty breakup of any kind. And they had at least remained friends and amicable. They've got 2 children. And so that is a little bit harder to watch because I think, to me, and I love that we have a differing feeling on this, I felt that he probably still has some feelings for her. They cast such a good actor. He had those beautiful sad eyes and he would just look at her. And I felt like with her, I felt like the look from her was a little bit of pity, absolutely no animosity whatsoever, no hatred, no like, oh, you're here to get the kids. And at the core of everything is, like you're saying, just absolute awkwardness. But I didn't feel that there was that. I mean, I think that they probably still love each other as people who get divorced do, because like that, how does that ever really go away? You've been with someone, whatever. But like, I felt like no animosity or whatever. But like, clearly she'd moved on, and maybe there's a little bit of pity there because, yeah, clearly it's her family, and he's not hated by anybody, But like, you want a beer? I'll get you a beer. Like, it was just super fucking awkward, like you said. And that made it really hard to watch because this is obviously this single dad who hasn't moved on. And he's just there to get his kids. And he's doing it. Like, remember when he rings the doorbell and everyone runs to the door. All the children run to the door, including his own.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, we thought you were Santa. Like, not even his own kids were like, oh, it's not Santa, but it's daddy. Like, they were like, oh, it's you. Yeah. And the pain in that man's face, I was like, this is really hard to watch.
I thought, first off, she traded up. I ain't even gonna lie. Her new boyfriend was way hotter than that guy. That's probably why they're not together. You're like, oh, for sure. You cannot deny it. She traded up. But
I mean, he was whatever. But I hate that, Gavin. Shut up. I hate that because obviously the guy that she got has like this great body and he's younger. Okay, she traded up. Whatever. That man could have been the sweetest, most wonderful person ever, and it just didn't work out. So don't say things like that.
Yeah, no, but he was an asshole. He was trying to, do the dominant thing.
I didn't think, really? I actually thought, I didn't think he was that. He could have been super fucking obnoxious. Really? You thought he was trying to be hurtful?
He was pulling the alpha male when he went and shook his hands like, I just want to make sure we're all okay. Like, he was trying to pull that dominance thing that I put in his fucking place. I hit Jacqueline's dude with the fucking car door. So I was not having this shit.
You did?
This situation.
You did that?
I did. So I've been in this very situation because Jacqueline lied to me for years. And she was actually married to some other guy. And I was paying their bills. And so when I found out, I would have to go pick up Brett. And he would try to do that alpha dominance thing. And I wasn't having it. And one time he fucking threatened me and said, you better be there for your son. I am there for my son. And he had a gun. And he was trying to be all Billy Badass. And I fucking hit him with my car door and knocked his ass on the ground. And I said, I can handle my own shit. And I drove off. I don't pull up with that shit. So I have very personal experiences when it comes to this movie because I've experienced it. I'm a thug when it comes to that shit. You don't fucking you do not get between me and my child. You do not. Like, he knew that if he were to ever touch my kid, there is no place he could hide. Like, for honest, like, he realized that they're not together anymore, obviously, because he's a fucking dumbass. But yeah, and I've seen Jacqueline give me that same fucking look. And so that woman that did this, she's either experienced this or she had a really good fucking acting coach. So
who? The wife?
The wife, the ex-wife.
What did what? I'm sorry.
That whole awkward conversation at the top of the stairs. She was subtly still kind of flirting with him. I think she said no because she met someone else that made her feel different.
I didn't get that she was flirting. I get that she was out of love with him, but didn't hate him and wanted the best for him and was just trying to give him his kids because that was their arrangement. I did not get that there was still something there. I got years of friendship and a divorce is what I got.
So this is another interesting. We got something completely different from this.
Yeah, we did.
So this one was really good, and this dealt with younger kids being stuck in the middle, whereas our next one deals with an adult kid stuck in the middle. It's another divorce film called The Journey.
Oh my God.
Now, this was awkward in a very tension-filled way because it's about a dad who picks his daughter up at the airport.
Doesn't really want to.
Yeah, he doesn't really want to, but he does it. And then as they're driving home, because it's a long way, you realize they're divorced. She's stuck in this awkward situation because she kind of wants to try to fix things with her dad. But here's what I liked about this. You never like this man. You never feel any sort of pity for him the entire time because he is a jerk. There is no redeeming side from him, and it just escalates. His jerk level goes from 2 to like 20 by the end, and you're like, this is why. You feel pity for this woman, you feel pity for her family, and I wanted to know what happened. How much of a jerk was this guy for their entire life? Like this shit he tried to pull at the end of the movie. I was like, I want to know more about this bad guy to see why he got this way. Like it was one of those you don't like him, period. Not Dolores Umbridge level don't like yesterday's fucking bitch from the Brazil movie, but yeah, this one was definitely something different.
I absolutely hate when someone pulls this very specific thing, and this is exactly what this character did. This is my if someone does this to me, we are immediately done. And I don't care what the nature of the relationship is. I cannot stand this thing that he did. It is a subtle passive aggressive manipulation because what he did in his mind, his whole plan, I'm picking my daughter up from the airport. That's a little bit of control there because he didn't really want to. Then they stop off to
yeah. It was emotional abuse. You're right.
Well, but I'm not even done. His calculated passive aggressive action is what like so then she falls asleep in the car, right? Clearly it's a long drive. And so now it's nighttime. He doesn't communicate with her and say, hey, daughter, I don't drive well at night and I'm really exhausted. And I'm thinking that I kind of want to just drive us home. He makes the decision for her and then blames her and puts it back on her. Oh, well, I should call mom and let her know. Oh, well, you didn't tell me you had plans. And like what she can't say back is, well, you didn't tell me that you literally just changed the plans. Like it's the kind of thing where somebody decides what to do. They change the plans. They don't tell you. And then when you have a question about it or you're confused about it, then they put that back on you and they become an asshole and it intimidates you into where you're silent. And so like it totally, and it escalated so badly by the time they're home, like she can barely even ask him if she can use the phone. Like she has to ask twice. Like, can I use your phone? Yeah. Oh, you're not going to take off your jacket. She takes off her jacket. She stands there and he just looks at her. And then she's like, can I call? Like it's the whole thing of him changing all of the plans to hold all of the cards and then to take it out on her because his issue is with the mother. And we'll never know. We'll never know if like the mother did have an affair or maybe she tried to have an amicable divorce.
Yeah.
I don't love you anymore. We're getting a divorce. No, she's a whore. She's a bitch. You're all whores. He hates all of the women in his life. He's become a toxic, poisonous male figure. He's awful. And it's that shit. Like the second when there's a time change and she wakes up and he says to her, oh, well, I've decided to go home. I went, I know this whole film. I know. And that's not to say that the film wasn't I mean, I'm not saying, oh, it was predictable. Like, this is not a bad critique, but I'm like, I fucking know this archetype. I fucking know this allegory, or not allegory, but I fucking know this caricature. That's not the right word either. It's triggering. I'm having trouble. Like, and I'll stop talking because I've been talking for a year. But like, I just fucking hate when somebody contorts, is that a word? The plan. They don't tell you.
They manipulate,
and then they gaslight you. Then they gaslight you. Oh, well, you didn't tell me you had plans. Well, I don't know if mom had plans, but she hasn't seen me in a year. Well, you didn't explain that to me, did you? Well, I didn't think I had to because you were supposed to be taking me to her house. I was like, oh, I'm going to have trouble in the next 15, 20 minutes of this film because I fucking know exactly who that is. Oh.
So those are our 3 shorts we watched. And
Gavin.
We realized something. This year's shorts, they're not shorts. They're like mini movies, y'all. These are between 15 and 35 minutes.
I have not seen one short yet. Not one. That is of, and actually my favorite shorts are the ones that look like kind of low budget, low quality, which sounds like I'm being rude, but I'm not. Like, I fucking love grainy ass, film, like super grassroots. Like, that's my jam. And I never get to see that stuff except for at festivals. I have not seen one short that does not look like it had a budget of at least 20 grand, professional lighting, professional sound, makeup, everything. This is like to me is a professional film festival. This shit is stuff you see at Cannes. It's stuff you see at Sundance, which is not, and then that makes it sound like I'm saying that films I've seen in the past at South by aren't that level. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, I'm kind of missing my grassroots here because everything looks like something I'd fucking pay to go to Alamo Drafthouse and fucking watch, like, straight up from Sundance or something. Like, I am blown away.
I agree. I think this year, since it was virtual, they extended their short film requirements to be different lengths. Because usually they put them all in a batch and you watch them in about an hour and 45 minutes. You get like 14, 15 of them. So this is why it's taking us so long to get through the shorts. Like, we're halfway through the narrative shorts right now. And we haven't even touched the other half of Midnight and the animated shorts and the Texas and the documentary shorts. So this is going to be interesting. We may not get them all before we're done reviewing things, but we're going to do our darn best to do it. But yes, definitely interesting day.
I'm having a blast with you, by the way, friend.
What?
I'm having a blast with you. I'm having a blast with you.
Like, and you heard some of my dark story, family backstory that I think we were talked about. So yeah, we're gonna watch.
It's called Life.
Right now. Yeah,
it's called Life.
Gonna watch. What are you watching?
After a short break, which we'll talk about, I'm gonna watch the it's a documentary about Selma Blair.
Yeah, and I'm going to watch something about Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
So this will be a really interesting review when we get done to talk about both these films.
Yeah.
So
and I might watch the Kevin Smith one at some point. I just have a feeling that that's going to get some play outside of the festival. Yeah,
but this was last year's South by, and we were lining up an interview with Kevin Smith when everything got canceled. So they held it over for this year.
Oh, so this is a premiere.
Yeah, this is still going to be a premiere. They held it for a whole year, which I don't understand why it's so big. But I am thinking, since we've loved some of these things so much, could I possibly get some interviews with people like behind stuff and things like that?
You had a press pass, bitch. Why not?
Well, yeah, but I don't know how we're going to try to fit it in such a short time. Because you have tonight off. I have to do a birthday party tomorrow night, and then we have Saturday. So yeah, I'm going to try to figure out how to fit some of these things in, and we're going to play it from there. Because, like I said, it's supposed to extend past this week for a lot of things, but I want to make sure we get the things we want to see in just in case. So maybe I could try to do things like later next week. We could do some specials maybe. So maybe not this week, but afterwards might be what I shoot for. Because I do really want to talk to the stuffed people as well. Like, I think that's something that we really want to get into.
Christ.
And I'm going to try to see if I could call Anastasia to have her come watch the ABC one with me
Yeah.
and do a different review of that one, since it's two white people reviewing a black film.
Well, and I wasn't even trying to review it. I was just
Yeah.
like, I really appreciate it, and I really loved it, and I loved how it was filmed, and I love how complicated it was. And I fully admit that as a white person, I am not going to understand it, but I can still really appreciate the art.
Yep. So we'll be back in a few hours with some more reviews. We're going to just keep on trucking through the day.